Hey guys, welcome to Factoring Day 1. So this is part A of Unit 3, Lesson 5. So today we're talking about factoring, which you've definitely seen in the past. There's so many different scenarios for factoring though, so it's just one of those concepts that the more we practice, the better we get with it. So our goal is to be able to factor in all these different types of situations. So if we look at example 1, it says to multiply. Remember when we multiply with two binomials, this is where we use that FOIL method. First, outside, inside, last. So first is x times x gives us x squared. Outside gives us x times 5, which is 5x. And then inside is 3 times x, so we get 3x. And then last is 3 times 5, which is 15. So we get x squared plus 8x plus 15. All right? But now if we want to factor that, so let's look back over here to check and see if we did it right. What we do is we always know that it comes from x and x, because that's the x squared term. And then we look for factors of 15 that add to make 8. And signs are the same, both positive. So it's x plus a number, and we know that the only factors of 15 that would add to make 8 are 5 and 3, which is what we started with. I mean, it was in the other order. I suppose if we want it to be exactly the same, we would have 3 and 5, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so factoring patterns. If you notice this first one here, its signs are both plus. That's where signs are the same, both positive. So it's going to be x plus a number times x plus a number. Then down here, signs are the same, both negative. So this is the situation where it's x minus a number, x minus a number. Okay, now on the right side, this is where we have x plus and x minus, because signs are different, but the bigger number is the positive part. So whatever that number is, it just has to be the bigger number. And then down here, this is, again, where signs are different because we have a minus sign here. So we're going to have one x plus and one x minus. I'm just going to put the x minus first this time to make it seem like it's different. And this is where the bigger number has to be the negative. All right, so let's practice some of these. So this one here, we first look at the second sign. So that tells us signs are different. Still do the double parentheses. We know it's going to be x and x. So let's do an x minus and an x plus. So now we have to think of factors of 20, because that's our last number. Factors of 20 that have a difference of 8, because they're going to subtract with each other. So 20 and a difference of 8, well, if we list the factors out, we know there's 1 times 20, there's 4 times 5, and then there's 2 times 10. Thinking about those, 2 and 10 are the only ones that have a difference of 8. And the bigger number has to be the negative, because we have to subtract to make negative 8. So it's x minus 10 and x plus 2. All right. Let's go ahead and try this one over here. Signs are the same, both negative. So this is an x minus and an x minus. So now we're looking for factors of 50 that combine to make 15. So just some common factors of 50, 2 and 25, 5 and 10. Let's see what else we got. 50 and 1. But for this one, since they combine together to make negative 15, it's got to be 5 and 10. Doesn't matter the order, minus 5, minus 10. Down here, signs are different. So we have one that's an x plus, one that's an x minus, and then the bigger number has to be positive. So factors of 16 that have a difference of 6, well, hopefully you can go through and find those, 4 times 4, 1 times 16, but the key one is going to be 8 times 2. So we do have to be good at knowing our factors. That really helps with these. 8's the bigger number, 2's the small number. Together they have a difference of 6. And then these ones are usually the easiest because signs are the same, both positive. X plus, factors of 6 that combine to make 5. Well, the only factors of 6 are 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. The second set is the one that adds to make 5, so that one right there. All right, example 4 and 5 are a little bit, well, 4 is like what we just practiced. So let's go ahead and do double parentheses. We know that x and x is how we start this one because a equals 1. And then we're looking for factors of 9. Signs are the same, both negative. So it's x minus, x minus. Factors of 9 that combined make 10. Well, that one, the only factors of 9 are 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. So we have to use 1 and 9. But together, those do make negative 10. Down here, factors of 8, it's x plus because signs are the same, both positive, x plus and x plus. Factors of 8 that combine to make 6. Well, factors of 8 are 1 and 8 or 4 and 2. So 4 and 2 add to make 6. All right, now we're getting into territory where a does not equal 1. All right, so for this one, there's an interesting method that we can always use. It's called the box method. What we do, so it's a times c. Oh, excuse me. So negative 12, and then down here is b. All right. So this is something I will definitely show in class too. But if you have questions on this method, it's just one that you have to practice to understand it. But it works every time, so it's kind of nice. So a times c, which is 2 times negative 6, we get negative 12, and then the b value is negative 11. So what it does is we look for factors of negative 12, and if we have a negative number, we know that one's positive, one's negative. So when you multiply them together, but they combine together to make negative 11. So the factors are negative 12 and positive 1, because negative 12 times 1 gives us negative 12, and negative 12 plus 1 gives us negative 11. So what we do is we make this box. Okay, the first one, this is always going to be our first term, which is right here, the 2x squared. This one's always going to be our last term, which is negative 6. Then we're going to take these numbers on the sides of our little cross section here, and we're going to put negative 12 and an x, and then we're going to put 1x, or you can just write it as x. So how this works is going up and down, left and right, we need to find the greatest common factor of each of these. So we get 2x squared and negative 12x. If we look at those, the greatest common factor between 2x squared and negative 12x, well, they both have an x, and they're both even numbers, so it's 2x. Is going to be our greatest common factor. So I'm looking at this box and this box. Now I'm looking at this box and this box. So 2x squared and 1x, the only thing they have in common is an x. Then we're going to look over here at negative 12x and negative 6. Those are both negative numbers, and negative 12 and negative 6 have a common factor of minus 6. Lastly, we're going to look at the negative, or the 1x and the negative 6. Those have nothing in common, so if it greatest common factor is 1 for that. Okay, so what we get here is these are our factors. 2x, this is positive 1, so it's plus 1, and then x and minus 6. So there we go, we factored it. Now we can use the same method for the other problems. All right, I'm going to do one of each because I am in a time crunch. So I'm going to do the first problem from example 6. Hopefully you would have seen this in class, but you're welcome to ask me on other examples. Okay, so 3x squared plus 17x minus 20. So if we do the cross-section thing again, a times c, and then this is b. So a times c, 3 times negative 20 is negative 60. And then the b value is positive 17. So factors of negative 60 that combine to make 17. So factors of negative 60 would be 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 4 and 15, 3 and 20, which you probably noticed right there. 3 and 20 is what we got to combine here. So it's going to be a negative 3 with a positive 20. All right, so then off to the side here, I'm going to do this little box method. The first term is going to be 3x squared from over here. The last term is going to be negative 20. And then these are what I fill into the other boxes, and I just add an x next to them. So I'm going to put negative 3x, and then I'm going to put 20x. So going left to right, 3x squared and negative 3x, those both have a 3 and an x that I can take out. Down here, 20x and negative 20 both have a 20 I can take out. Now I'm going to go up and down. The first column, 3x squared and 20x, I can take a single x out. And then these two here, I can take out a negative 1. Okay, so now I have my factors. So it's going to be x minus 1 and 3x plus 20. All right. So we can use that same method. Again, try these out. If you get stuck, please reach out. I'm sorry I'm cutting this video short, but like I said, I'm in a time crunch and I don't want to be late. So let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and try